We're now going to get started today with some opening remarks from Dr. Julia DeVoy. She's the founder and principal investigator of Master Aftermath Learning Lab. Let's welcome Dr. Julia DeVoy to speak more about why we created the LEAPS Textile Waste Conference. And Dr. DeVoy, please feel free to unmute yourself, start the video, and or share your screen.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Am I unmuted and can you see and hear me? Give me a thumbs up, somebody.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, Sarah. Appreciate that. Thank you, DL. The first thing I want to say is a huge thank you. It's just a huge thank you to everyone that's here. I can see the participants that are here, and especially a deep and long-standing, abiding gratitude to my colleagues, to Cecilia Chang, who was a student and who is now a colleague and project manager, to my very long time friend and collaborator, DL Lundberg, who was a student many, many years ago, and in many ways has been with me longer than anyone else in my life, except for maybe my children. Just a lot of love and a lot of gratitude. And then Zara, thank you for being here to speak this morning. Zara is another student, mentee who went on to do great things, and now I would describe her as a colleague. So I'm very proud of all of the people that are involved, and I'm really grateful to the team that's here and to all of the people attending. So I want to tell you a little bit about how did we get to LEAPS? First of all, how did we get to this acronym? No, I'm kidding. I will address that though. I would have to go back to the year 2020 to tell you how we landed on the LEAPS conference. And so I'll do that. If somebody can just keep me within the time limit, I will, that will be good for all of us. In 2020, I got wind that this amazing engineer, this amazing environmental engineer was going to come to Boston College, and that she was going to head up the new Schiller Institute for Integrated Science and Society. And I thought, wow, who is this person? I need to know more about this amazing person. So I did kind of a fangirl dive into Dr. Laura Steinberg and discovered, a lot of her work, a lot of the work that she's done in many parts of the world, and really the environmental justice lens that she was coming at things through. She's one of the first people that I ever heard the term environmental racism from, and that was 4 or 5 years ago now. So Laura, I attended some kind of a webinar, I think actually, that Laura was part of, and she was talking about some of her hopes for the Schiller Institute when she came on board to be director. And a lot of it fit really well with what DL and I had been doing for years. And so I continued those conversations with her, and she came to Boston College. The 245 Beacon Street building was opened, and a lot of the work started to unfold. And Dr. Steinberg put out a call for grants. And one of the early ones was a grant called I'm not sure how I'm supposed to pronounce it, but I'll call it the CGEX or the SciGEX. And it's the Schiller Institute Grants for Collaborative Exploratory Scholarship. So that came out in 2021, and our team who had been working together already for years, including undergrad researchers that went on to all kinds of things, PhDs in environmental engineering and so forth. Our team put together a proposal, an application, and we were really fortunate. We were funded in the inaugural SciGEX grant round. And what we were doing in there is really a lot of the stuff that Cecilia has just been sharing with you. The original grant was to look at environmental racism as the impact of textile pollution. And we wanted to do sort of a multi-approach dissemination and awareness campaign. Through that project, an incredible sculpture, which again, Cecilia has alluded to, called Aftermath came out of that. And my colleague, Mark Cooper, who I also, he can't be here today because he's involved in a BC Arts and Design Festival, but I couldn't say that we could not have found a better person. Like, he's just been a colleague, a partner, a friend, and an incredible force and talent for this kind of work. So Mark came together with us and we created the aftermath sculpture, which you can see. You saw an image of it just recently, and it was fantastic. That was so successful, and we were so excited about the work that we were invited to apply for another grant through the Schiller Institute, and we did so. So we ran our first grant in the year 2022. We applied and we got another grant that was really looking at how do we develop some kind of a multimedia or a design template game around raising awareness for environmental racism. Again, keeping with what we were trying to do. We wanted to reach new audiences and do that in new ways. So we received another grant. Part of that grant included what has come to be called the LEAPS conference. We wanted to develop a prototype for a game. We wanted to create another publication. We did get a publication out there from the first round of our grants. We're still working on one for the second round of our grants. And we said that we would create a conference. And so we did. We created the LEAPS conference. I remember sitting around and we were trying to think about what we were going to call it. And we were bouncing ideas off as we do. That's how we came up with Innovixer, by the way. We were like, and so LEAPS, leveraging environmental action and policy stakeholders, was born. We piloted it last year. It was really successful. I think LEAPS has really actually pushed us forward. It's really amplified. I believe it was part of the reason that Aftermath has traveled far and wide this year and will continue to do so. And it really made sense to have a second LEAPS. And so I don't know how many minutes that was. Can anybody tell me?
I think
'Cause-
3 or 4 minutes left.
Okay, 3 or 4 minutes. So in the last couple of minutes, I'll just say we have a wonderful history around this conference. We had a lot of attendees last year. It looks like we have a lot of attendees that are going to be joining throughout the day this year. This is your space. This is a space for you to learn, to grow, to be part of the action, and to help us. We are always looking for collaborators, and we are really excited about that. I'll also say that we have some other really great supports in place here that I want to acknowledge. We have had wonderful supports at Boston University, I'll tell you that. We've had great supports at Bridgewater State University, St. Mary's College in Maryland. Folks at the Smithsonian in DC have been wonderful. And Boston College, the Schiller Institute actually right now has a mini version of Aftermath on display over in their convening space during the Arts and Design Week. So while the big Aftermath is still at Bridgewater until June, the mini Aftermath is right here on campus, and anybody can drop by and see it. And finally, in conclusion, I'll thank my colleague Sunan Bhattacharya, who has been wonderful also in the design pieces around this, in helping us embed more design thinking into our research and our work. And also, just being there when we need, when we say, oh my gosh, Aftermath just got invited somewhere, can we please, can we have some additional support to get it there? So between Dr. Steinberg and the Schiller Institute for Integrated Science and Society and Sunan Bhattacharya and the Vice Provost's office, and I'll include Tom Childs in this as well because he's been a huge lift. They have really kept this work going, and deep gratitude and thanks. And I think that's all I have to say.